Hi everyone, welcome to the new semester. My name is AJ Naderi. We're going to be going over our syllabus, Canvas, and the platform that we'll be using to do our assignments on. But before getting to those, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been teaching for quite a few years now. Before Ventura College, I taught at Moore Park High School for about 5 years. I've been teaching at Cal State Northridge since 2012. And as of last semester, I'm also teaching at Cal Lutheran. I wasn't always a teacher though. Before getting into teaching, I used to be an engineer and a project manager. The project we were working on at the time were the new UCLA dorms that were being built. It was a pretty big project. If I remember correctly, it was about $150 million back in 2010. And I was in charge of the electrical section of that, and I was doing the project management. Let's tell you a little bit about my background in education. I double majored. Initially my degrees were in engineering. I double majored in electrical engineering and computer science at UC Berkeley, minored in math, physics, and astrophysics. Then I took on the engineering job. After I quit, I went back to school, got a teaching credential in math so I could teach high school for some experience, and got a third bachelor's in math, and then finally the master's in math. What else should I tell you about myself? Engineering is a great field. It was just not for me, perhaps, you know, at the job site that I was at. The money is great. It is competitive, but I personally didn't like the work life itself. It was pretty stressful. I had to be in charge of a very large project and deadlines and budget. And a big part of my responsibility was to call up the other engineers or the people that worked for us and kind of chew them out, lay into them and get them going. And I personally am not a big fan of not being kind to others, and just didn't sit well with me. But that's the nature of any competitive business. It was just not for me. And so I quit, went back to school, and here we are. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, I know, at least for me, and I'm sure it's the case for many students too, at the time when I was working at my engineering job, I was, you know, I was not happy with the situation. And then I was kind of thinking, well, did I go to school for 4 years, got all those engineering degrees? Was that a waste of time, waste of money? So it definitely was a battle, and it was challenging. But I'm really glad that I pursued my passion and went back to school, even though I'm not working in the field of my first degree. In fact, that's a very common trend nowadays. I believe the statistics show that more than 50% of people work in a field other than their first degree or major. But it's challenging, it's scary, it's stressful to change majors. But what I can tell you is I highly recommend doing that, finding your passion first and pursuing it, no matter what it takes, even if it takes changing your major a couple times or having to work extra hard. It really is worth it, and I can't recommend that highly enough. Honestly, it's a pretty cliche and cheesy saying, but what's that saying? If you love what you do, you don't have to work a single day in your life. And I'm fortunate enough to have that apply to me. I truly love what I do. This is my dream job, and being a part of your education and future is definitely my life's purpose. I honestly cannot imagine doing anything else with my life. And I'm so blessed and fortunate to be here with you and help you along your journey. What else should I tell you? Let's see. I guess a little bit more about my personal life, family background, that sort of thing. I came from a very low income family. I was a first generation college student. I worked two jobs between the ages of 16 and 26 while going to school full time just to help take care of my parents and my younger brother at the time. I honestly never thought I'd be able to go to college because I couldn't pay for it, but it turns out that if you're dedicated enough, you're motivated enough, you have that drive in you to pursue your passion, you're willing to put in the work that it requires, then there is many opportunities available. And I'll be happy to help you with any of that. If you'd like to set up a Zoom meeting, we can talk about the resources out there, and I'd be happy to help you along the way. I was fortunate enough that I got a full ride to UC Berkeley. After that, when I went back to school, I got a full ride for my master's degree, the teaching credential, the third bachelor's in math. And it was pretty awesome not have to work anymore and could just focus on my studies. It honestly just takes perseverance, hard work, and time management. Time management is such a big thing, and it's so important, in everyday life, especially in this course that you're taking with me. So, if I could do it while having to learn a new language, English isn't my first language, you can certainly do it. So I encourage you to find your passion and work as hard as you can, because in the end, it is absolutely worth it. Please reach out, let me know how I can help you with that. With that, I think that's more than you care to know about my personal life. So let's go ahead and switch over to our syllabus. So what I have here for you is a sample syllabus. I'm going to be using this video for all of my classes. I teach a variety of courses, but the template and the majority of the content on my syllabus are pretty identical. So you will see quite a bit of writing in red. What that means is refer to your syllabus through Canvas for our course to see the specifics that pertain to your class for this semester. I'm not going to go over the entire thing. It is extremely important that you read through this. This is our contract for the semester. It is legally binding, and I need you to be aware of it. I'll just touch on a couple of things. Right up here, you see the semester you're taking the class with me, the class title. Obviously, this one is distance education until we go back to face-to-face classes. The section number should appear right down here. Again, my name is AJ Naderi. When we were teaching face-to-face, my office was in Science 246. The phone number is listed. However, working from home, I don't have access to that. And even when I was working from my office, phone was not the best way to communicate. I strongly encourage you to use email or Canvas messages. Those are the best ways to get in touch with me. And I usually do my best to get back to you right away. I get the notifications on my phone, and if I'm not tied up with something, I definitely will get back to you. Here's the link to my Zoom. So by clicking on that, it will pop you right into my Zoom meetings and Zoom rooms. But if you wanted to punch in the meeting ID number manually, you can do that as well. I tried picking up a pretty cool number, but I couldn't find one. This was randomly generated. I tried coming up with something that started with 805. It would have been cool to use my phone number as the ID, but that was already taken. So we'll see. My office hours are listed right here. During the pandemic, as we're working from home and not doing anything face-to-face, the office hours are when I'm available, but that doesn't mean I'm logged into Zoom. That means I'm right by my computer, right by my phone, either answering emails or Canvas messages or questions that students are asking about their specific problems from the homework. Or I can also be available for Zoom meetings, but I do need you to either email me or message me through Canvas and make an appointment. So please be aware of that. And I'm also available way beyond the hours that are listed here. So if these hours don't work for you, don't worry. Just shoot me an email. Let me know when you would like to set up a Zoom meeting, and just let me know your availability for that day and the next day. And I'll do my best to work around your schedule. Again, go right ahead and read through the syllabus very, very, very carefully. It's extremely important. The prerequisites for your course should be listed here on your syllabus. The description will be listed here. We will be using WebAssign this semester for our math assignments. It's the online platform that we use. You can purchase it through WebAssign itself. They have a discounted price set up for us. You can also buy it through the bookstore, whichever is more convenient for you. The price is about the same. I think it's roughly $65 or $62.50. However, before signing up or before purchasing it, I strongly urge you to just use the 14-day trial period that WebAssign grants you, just to play around with the platform, see if you're comfortable with it, see if you're comfortable with my rules and expectations and policies, see if you're comfortable with how I'm running the class before dropping $65 on the course. So use the trial period for those 2 weeks, and once you're sure that you're staying in the class, go right ahead and purchase it through either the bookstore or WebAssign itself. We will not be using a textbook in this class. Everything's going to be through WebAssign and Canvas, and it's all covered through that $65 or $62.50 fee. And there's a couple of extra credit opportunities, time sensitive, due end of this week, Sunday at midnight. So please be aware of that. You'll submit it on Canvas. I'll show that momentarily. Required material. It's useful to have a scientific calculator or even a graphing calculator. You can use Desmos as a free graphing calculator too. I have a link to it here in our syllabus as well as on Canvas. For WebAssign, you do need a desktop or a PC or laptop or a computer, which means its operating system has to be either Windows, Mac, or Linux. You cannot do all of the problems with all of their functionalities and features on an iPad or a tablet or a phone. So again, you do need access to a Windows or Mac or Linux device. The system requirements for WebAssign are listed here to double check that. Zoom meetings for this course. Again, this is an asynchronous course, which means Zoom meetings are not held and not mandatory. We only set them up for one-on-one support, or if we need to go over anything, which we'll talk about in a little bit from here, or if you have questions, whether about your major, where to transfer to, need help with finding grants or scholarships, or how to apply for them, or need a letter of rec, just shoot me a message through Canvas or email. Let's set up an appointment and we'll work one-on-one with you. Or again, if you have a question regarding our class and the problems that you're working with, I'll be happy to do that with you. That's what I'm here for. The workload expectations, this is, again, I feel like everything here is extremely important, and I'll keep saying that. I've put a lot of time over the years creating these syllabi. This is not something that happened overnight. So, a lot of experience and user feedback or student feedback. And what you see is what you get. Nothing is exaggerated, nothing is underestimated or overestimated. It really is what it's laid out to be. So I do need you to pay attention to it and see whether or not that works for you. So again, what you see in red that's going to pertain to your class. So we're going to be talking about a certain number of hours depending on how many units your course is. And those specific hours will be filled in once you look at your actual syllabus for the semester. You can access it through Canvas, and I believe it will be emailed to you too through the first announcement that I will send to you. Let's see. So based on the lecture hours, the number of weekly hours are determined. Read through that. Anything else I need to mention here? Looks pretty good. Yeah, you can read through all of that stuff on your own. Pay close attention to it. Make sure you're not distracted by music or watching a video in the background or doing something else. Really, really, really need your 100% undivided attention as you go through the syllabus. Let's see. Those look good. All right, that is pretty good. As far as the homework is concerned, what you do on WebAssign is due every week on Sundays at midnight. However, if you don't get to finish a section's homework, let's say you've done 80% of it, you're done, you're left with the 20% that's remaining. You can request an extension. However, you'll only earn half credit on it. So half of the 20% that was remaining or was late is going to be 10%. So upon completion of the whole assignment, your grade will be 90%, not 100%. So be aware of that. You only have 2 weeks to request an extension from its due date, and you will only have 2 weeks to complete it. That only pertains to the assignments in WebAssign. The discussions that we do in Canvas, those will not have a late homework policy. In other words, they're not accepted late. So make sure you're on top of it. Those are quick, easy check-ins, so it shouldn't be time consuming. You can always find 5 minutes in a week to submit them. Anything else I need to tell you here? I guess a little bit of formatting here. There we go. That's good. Use there's an Ask Your Teacher feature on WebAssign. Use that when you have questions, specific questions. It'll just share the problem with me, and I can see it from my end, what exactly you're looking at, and then I can guide you through it and answer it through that. The other thing is, my recommendation is to divide up the total number of hours we're expected to put in every week into the 7 days. So let's say you're expected to put in 14 hours a week. That means 2 hours a day, 2 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. That's the best way to go about it in a class such as math or physics, courses where the concepts build upon each other, and it's really important to get consistent exposure to the material. So please do the best you can to spend a couple of hours every day. And a couple of hours, you should not do it in one sitting. Divide it up, spread it out, do about half an hour to an hour, get up, move around, do something else, and then come back to it. Whenever you come across a problem that's too challenging and you've spent a little bit of time already, 10, 15 minutes or so, looking at all the resources and you were still not able to figure it out, skip that problem for the time being, move on to the next one. Just kind of skim through the entire set of assignments, do the ones that are pretty easy or straightforward and you can get them done. After that, on the second round, you should go back and work on the problems that require a little bit of work, looking through resources and see if you can figure it out. And then the third round that you go through are the problems that are really challenging, and it takes either Zoom meetings with me or tutoring sessions or study groups, and something a little bit more extensive. Let's see, I think that's about it. We do have weekly Canvas discussions. No homework or no late submission will be accepted. Again, these will take about 5 minutes to do, so please make an effort to get them done. The discussions we were just talking about, that ends up being 30% of your grade for the semester, and the math problems that we'll do through WebAssign, that's 70% of the grade, which means we do not have any exams, tests, or quizzes this semester. The intention is to really focus on learning the material, completing the course, and retaining the information, and not cramming right before an exam or a test. So it takes a lot of honesty with yourself to set yourself up on the right track for your future. Please read through this. It is extremely important. The grading is laid out here for you as well. There is a what if feature in Canvas that allows you to determine what your grade will be based on what grade you get on the next assignment, let's say, or on the next 10 assignments. So you can look through that and figure it out if need be. Class rules, super important. Please read through them. Academic dishonesty, I cannot emphasize this enough. Again, please, please, please read through this extremely carefully. We'll be looking at IP addresses, if you're using a VPN, the location you're in, the time spent, just to avoid and prevent academic dishonesty and putting other students at a disadvantage. And I know, in some classes, students think that, hey, it's one assignment, one test, one class, and that's the end of it. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is, whether for this course or the rest of the classes you'll ever take, academic dishonesty is not about just that one assignment or assessment. It affects far more than that. Every time a student cheats on an assignment, it puts them at an unfair advantage. Obviously, they get a higher grade that they don't deserve. That leads to a higher GPA. That higher GPA leads to what schools they can get accepted to. Once they go to those top universities, those competitive colleges, that determines where they can get a job. So though that single assignment or assessment, the consequences and the implication of cheating on it means that the student who cheated has taken the potential career of another student that was playing the game fairly, that took the seat at a college that someone else should have attended, that took the scholarships and the grants that were merit-based and based on the GPA. So again, the consequences are huge, and I encourage you to be very vigilant about it, whether during the pandemic or when we're back in school. It is really important to hold yourself and your classmates accountable. And that doesn't mean confronting your classmates or your friends. If you see something, say something. That student, whether you're a friend or not, is putting you and the rest of that class at a disadvantage. So again, it is taken very seriously in this course. I do drop students with an F on the first offense, and it will be reported. There's a whole lot to be said. So please, please, please make sure you read through that thoroughly. If you need help, there's a lot of resources. Take a look at that. If you have issues with WebAssign, take a look at what's laid out here for you. There's also some links on Canvas that can help you. Important dates to be aware of are things like the last day to drop the class and get a full refund, the last day to add a class, or the last day to drop without a W. What that means is you drop the course and nothing will ever show up on your transcript, as if you never took the course. However, after that, there's another deadline before the end of the semester to drop with a W, which means a W will appear on your transcript. However, it does not affect your GPA. All that means is that you withdrew from the class, and it's in place for usually emergencies, usually medical or health issues, or serious family issues, or anything of that nature. Like true emergencies are when students withdraw from a school. So it's okay to withdraw from a couple of classes, maybe 1 semester, 2 semesters, but you don't want every other course on your transcript to have a W. That does not look good when you go to transfer to a university. And there should be a good justification for it too, if need be. So anyways, keep that in mind. Our final assignments for this class will be due on a certain day and time. You can finish them early. In fact, that's the case for any and all of the assignments that we'll do this semester. You can get them done early. Let's see. As far as ad codes are concerned, if you're on the wait list, read through this section. Email me next Monday, the first day of the 2nd week, as long as you've completed all of these. Accommodations, please read through that and let me know if this applies. Methods of instructions are laid out, and the student learning outcomes, course objectives, planned topics are listed here. You can take a look at those, and obviously the syllabus is subject to change, and I will let you know as we progress through the semester if anything comes up or if we need to modify it. For the syllabus quiz that you need to take, the one where you need to get a perfect score on, pretty much you need to read up until about right here, right around reporting WebAssign issues, ad codes, yeah, right around here, just before methods of instruction is where you can stop to be able to answer the questions on that quiz. I also have quite a few links here. This was sent to me by, I believe it was the college president, or it might have been the vice president. I don't recall at the time, so I just copy pasted it here. Make sure to take a look if these are any resources that you could take advantage of. And I think we are good on that end. We can go ahead and switch over to Canvas, take a look at that and see what we have going on. This is the Canvas homepage. There's quite a few modules here. I'll try to go over as much of it as possible. Obviously, you're more than welcome to ask me questions too later on. One other thing I wanted to mention, any of the information that's already laid out in the syllabus, I don't tend to go over them again. I'm happy to clarify, but if it's already clear and it's stated, like that's the plan that we're going with. So, you know, if you email me or message me asking a question that was already addressed in the syllabus or in this video, chances are that question might get ignored, or you might get a reply from me saying that you know, refer to the syllabus or the video from the beginning of the class. And just, I guess, to be honest with you, just to share a little bit more with you as far as my philosophy on teaching and my approach. Students tend to think that I am one of the most strict teachers they've ever had, and that may be true. However, the reason for it isn't to be mean to you or anything. It is that you are preparing for the real world. And I think it would be a disservice to you if I were to baby you or hold your hand or spoon feed you everything. And I need you to work on becoming accountable for your own education, take ownership of it. It is your future, it is your life. You got to step up and you got to take control of it. I'm here to support you along the way, more than happy to do it. But you know, with certain rules and expectations, it is with your best interest in mind and at heart. So I hope you do pay attention to that. Switching over to Canvas. Again, right now, I'm just going over, in this case, Math 21B in spring 2021 as a sample. Your class may happen to be this. It may happen to be 21A. It may happen to be college algebra, intermediate algebra, statistics, applied calculus, Calc 1, or anything else. This is just, again, a template very similar to the sample syllabus that we went through. Most of the information here carries over in every one of my classes. There's a few items that are modified depending on that specific course. Once you log into Canvas, you start with a welcome message. Please read through that. After that, you have a link to your specific syllabus for the course. So I'll go ahead and click on this real quick. Let's take a look. So notice that we no longer have semester. It says spring 2021, and I do have to fix the margins. But anyways, you see the slight difference. Yours might be a different semester, different class, so on and so forth. To read through it, extremely important. After that, the next page is your quiz. So again, please pay attention to that. You do need to take this within the first week. It's due by midnight at the end of the week on Sunday to remain enrolled in the class and or to get an add code in week 2. Students that do not earn a perfect score will be dropped from the class on Monday morning, perhaps Sunday at night, to open up room for other students that are trying to get in the class. The quiz itself doesn't count towards your grade. It's just making sure that you understand the rules, policies, expectations set forth for this class, and that you will act responsibly. Again, that syllabus is our contract for the semester. So it's very important to read through it, take that quiz, pass it with a perfect score. You can retake this as many times as you need until you get that perfect score. Again, I highly encourage you to read the syllabus first, then take the quiz. You need to know that information. So you don't want to just play around with this to figure it out. After the quiz, I have a video for you that has to do with rate of forgetting and the importance of being exposed to the material, especially in a math or physics class. It's only 2 minutes. Please do watch it. I find it highly valuable. And then finally, on the next page, you will have the schedule for this semester with the assignment deadlines and whatnot. Remember, every assignment, the ones through WebAssign, are due on Sundays at midnight, except the very final assignment or assignments. Those are going to be on a different day and time. So in week 1, we're doing about 3 assignments. Week 2, same thing. Week 3, same thing. But starting week 4, it looks a little different. So depending on the class you're taking with me and the semester, the layout might look a little bit different. Getting started with WebAssign is the first assignment for any and all of my classes. That assignment is just guiding you through how WebAssign works, just to make sure you know how to punch in the numbers or graph or use the tools available to you. Sometimes it says WebAssign-calculus. Even if you're, let's say, in college algebra, it says WebAssign-calculus. Don't worry, that doesn't have any questions from a calculus class. It's just pulled from the calculus bank of assignments that they have. Week 12, this semester, we have our spring break. There's no assignments due then. And then the final assignment is down here. So notice for this particular class, the final assignment happens to be just 1, and it's due on Wednesday at 6 p.m., not at midnight and not on a Sunday. Again, refer to your schedule for the semester and the course that you are enrolled in with me. So that's the homepage, or the first module in the homepage. Here's the thing. This first module will unlock the rest of the modules here. You can see that it says prereq start here. That means you need to complete all of these. Once you've completed all of this, the next 4 modules will be, or however many we have, will be unlocked for you. In the first module though, in the start here, if you just log in for the first time and you just click on the syllabus, it's not going to open up for you because the syllabus has a requirement. You need to first read the welcome message. Once you read the welcome message, then the syllabus opens up for you. Once you view the syllabus, then the syllabus quiz becomes available for you. Once you've taken the quiz with a perfect score, then the rate of forgetting that 2-minute video will appear for you. And once you've watched that, then the schedule will open up for you. And at that point, everything else on the page will just unlock automatically. So these are in sequential order for you. The next module that we have is support for WebAssign. If you need help with the registration, there's a very important and helpful link there. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want to double check and make sure, you can take a look at that, or take a look at the video that they have created for us. If you have issues with WebAssign, please read this little post. And then you can also contact WebAssign tech support. By the way, WebAssign is the online platform of the Cengage company, which is one of the major publishers. So Cengage, WebAssign, you'll see me use the two interchangeably, or the names may appear on the same document. One issue that most students have when it comes down to graphing inequalities is how the graphing tool works. So please make sure to watch this video. It's only 2 minutes. I created it. It was very quick. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. So it's not the best quality, just like this one. I was just winging it, but take a look at that, and hopefully that will answer your questions in the future, or as you come across problems in the future. And speaking of winging it, depending on how this goes, I'll definitely come back at a later time when I'm not pressed for time, and maybe redo the video for you and clean it up. Otherwise, please excuse the mess, and I hope it is acceptable. We have a couple links to our extra credit. You do need to post the extra credit or submit it within the assignment. So once you look at your student side of the view, you'll see that there's a button to submit. All you have to do is, what's this one, the Canvas app, download it on your phone, take a screenshot of it, and upload that screenshot here so that I can see that you have downloaded the Canvas student app. And then for the other one, it's a profile picture. That helps me get to know you. Obviously, when we were meeting face to face before the pandemic, that would help me really get to know you and the names and whatnot in class. But for now, it really, personally for me, it adds a human element to it. So it's really helpful for me to see your picture and see that there is a face behind that name, and it's not just a name or a 900 number. It's a good reminder for me. So I would appreciate it if you could do that, and it will appear just like what I have up here. You can upload it through the Canvas app that you download, or through the browser as well. Let's see, what else? The next item down, we have the list of the assignments through WebAssign for the semester. I believe, so they're trying something new this semester. I believe what they said is, as soon as you click on one of these assignments, it will guide you through the initial setup of your WebAssign account. So you only do that once. Once that's set up, starting the next time, all you do is you click on the assignment, and it will just take you directly to WebAssign, and it will load up the assignment for you. One issue that has occurred in the past is, let's say you're working on 5.1 assignment. You click that, it opens up in WebAssign, you finish that assignment, and you try to navigate to the second one through WebAssign. Sometimes it doesn't allow students to go to the next one, so what you would have to do is go back to Canvas and select the next assignment that you would like to work on, so on and so forth. Let's see. Here's a link to the ebook for the semester. You have access for that. Again, it's included with that $62.50 or $65 pricing that we have. There's also a link to the ebook through WebAssign itself and through the assignments and the individual problems. I'll show you that as well. So you can access the assignments here. They're sorted by due date, but I believe there's an easier way to access them, and I'll show you that in a little bit. The next module is the discussion assignments. So these are the weekly discussions where You've worked out all of the problems in WebAssign. You choose one of those problems. You either take a picture of your work or you scan it, you upload it, and then you review someone else's work and you comment on it. That's all you have to do. And then there is an introduction discussion at the very beginning just to get to know each other. So that's as far as that. Now, on this screen, the way it's laid out, if you look all the way at the very, very, very bottom, it says View Calendar. I believe that's the easiest way to access all of your assignments, and I'll show you that in a second. However, if you are, again, depending on the device you're using, the resolution, whether you're using landscape or portrait, whether you're splitting screens, the View Calendar may be at the very bottom of the page, or it might be on the top right-hand side. So I'm going to go all the way back up to the top, and it now appears at the top right and no longer at the very bottom of the screen. So again, look for it either on the top right or at the very bottom of your screen. Right, so let me go ahead and click on it and show you what we were talking about. Once you click on your calendar, all of your courses should appear down here. So if your other instructors are using Canvas extensively, then you'll see assignments color-coded by course. So it might be a little overwhelming. You can, check them on or off to make it less or a little bit clearer. So for this class, for this 21B course in spring 2021, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items that need to be submitted by Sunday at midnight. Out of those 7, there is the getting started with WebAssign, guiding the students through how to use the tool. You can just click on it right there. It will take you to the assignment. Then there's 2 actual math assignments from the course. Here's the 2 extra credit. I highly encourage you to do it. Each one is 1%. And you might be thinking, well, if it's only 1%, why should I do it? It's not worth it. Well, there's 2 things to be said as far as that's concerned. One is that it doesn't take a whole lot to do either or. It only takes a couple minutes. So I can't really grant too many points. And 1% each or 2% total added to your overall grade in the class at the end of the semester is a pretty good number. But here's the most important reason for it. I do round 0.5 and higher. So let's say I have a student that ended up with 80, let's go with 86.5. And 86.5, let me go ahead and type this in somewhere. I need to write math down. So let's say we have an 86.5% for a student. Technically, even if that were to get rounded, that's an 87%, which is a solid B. Now, if that student at the very beginning of the semester did both extra credit items, then that 87 or 86.5 plus the 2 extra credit points or percent, that becomes 88.5. And here's where I messed up. I used to do 3 extra credit when we were teaching face-to-face. The third extra credit was for students to come and find my office and just kind of as a way for them to kind of say hi and kind of sit down, get to know them and know where to find me if they needed help. And at the time, we're using 86.5. So for now, we're going to be using 87.5. So backtrack a little bit. Suppose that I have a student that at the very end of the semester, once all is done, the student has an 87.5%, which even if it got rounded, that's an 88%, which is still that solid B. However, if that student did the 2% extra credit at the beginning of the year, then the 87.5 becomes an 89.5, which then gets rounded to 90, and all of a sudden, their B became an A. That's the difference between those 2 letter grades, and that's all it takes. So if you end up on that borderline at the end of the semester, the extra credit is going to be extremely helpful. Problem is, right now, we don't know whether or not you are going to meet that extra credit. My recommendation, go ahead and do it anyways, just in case, as an insurance policy. I've never had a student who did not do both of these. I highly encourage you to do them so that you can take advantage of it if need be at the end of the semester. All right, let's keep on going. So those were the extra credit assignments. Here's the syllabus quiz, which chances are you've already taken this through the welcome or start here module at the very top. And here's a link to week 1 discussion. Again, I believe the calendar is the easiest way to access your assignments, but it's completely up to you. You can access it here. You can access it on the bottom of the page, again, depending on the number of assignments you have in your class. This might be a lengthy page, so it might not be as convenient, but it's completely up to you. So that's the main page. Let's switch over to the left-hand side and the resources and items here. Under announcements, you will find important communication that will be relayed to you. So what's going to happen soon after this video is recorded and it's transcribed so that it can have closed captioning, I will send out an announcement which will come with this, obviously with this video. You'll receive it as an email, and it also appears in Canvas announcements. Throughout the semester, chances are I'll make quite a few announcements. This is where you can access them. And I've set up the course for the most recent 3 announcements to appear on top. So hopefully I'll remember to do that for your course too. But again, this is where you can access it. The third place where you can access those assignments, which we looked at either on the main page or through the calendar, the third way is through assignments. Again, this is not a good way to go about it. The only reason I give you access to see that is so that you know the syllabus quiz does not count towards your grade. The extra credit does not count towards your regular grade. I will manually override your grade at the end of the semester. And then at the end of the semester, you'll see me put in a letter grade for the semester, incorporating the extra credit and all that stuff, which you'll have to take a look and let me know if there's any issues, because within 24 hours, I'll be submitting the grades for the semester. Here's the list of the assignments, 70% for WebAssign. The problem with this tab is no matter how many times I organize this, there's a glitch with it. It does not stay organized. So this is probably not the best way to go about it. But in any event, those are the assignments. Here are the weekly discussions. My recommendation would be either use the calendar or the main homepage where the assignments are organized by due date. After that, we have a link to assist.org. Hopefully you've heard of it. If not, definitely check it out. Let's see if I can actually guide you through it. WebAssign, or not WebAssign, assist.org is a data bank of articulations between community colleges and universities. So you can determine what courses at, let's say, Ventura College will be required or recommended at the school that you want to transfer to. They're pretty accurate. You should always double check anything and everything. And what you see here, double check it with your Ventura College counselor as well as your advisor or representative at the university you intend to transfer to. For the most part, it's pretty good. Some of the articulations, let's say I'm going to try this again, just winging it. We'll try 2021. Chances are it's not updated for that. So it might show us an articulation that's a year or 2 old, but that's not a problem. These articulations do not change very frequently. So chances are you're good. So let's see, we'll go ahead and go from Ventura College to, let's go to Channel Islands. And let's take a look at They might have changed this. Ooh, they have changed this. So in the past, you could pick your specific major, and it would tell you. But I mean, at least now you have the transferable courses and what's accepted. Let's see if this works. Oh, cool. So let's say we're going to major in psychology. I've been thinking about, by the way, I love taking psychology courses. They're really amazing. I've been thinking about going back to school and getting a philosophy degree. I think that would be a really cool topic in class to teach. All right, let's see. We'll take a look at, so anyways, we selected psychology, Ventura College, Channel Islands, psychology. Let's see what pops up here. So this looks a little bit different. Oh, wow, that's the whole thing. Okay, let's go back. This is not currently available. I think I like that. The all departments course. Oh, is that really not available? Let's take a look. Psychology, it is available. So anyways, I'm not sure what they are referring to. I get the area, data proof. That looks a little bit different than I had seen it in the past. And I believe these correspond with what's down below. Let me double check. 1, 2, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18. We definitely have less than 18 down here, but I guess those are the ones that are accepted. That's interesting. Yeah, it's changed a little bit. You used to be able to look it up per specific course. Anyways, you can play around with it. Let's see if we tried that. CSU transferable courses. And again, we'll pick psychology. Still not available. What if we wanted to do philosophy? Fantastic, not available. What if we wanted to do math? Not available. All right, I'm gonna change the date back by a year or two. Let's see if that changes anything for us. Ooh, it just changed to major. Notice, as soon as I went to 2019, 2020, that other part got grayed out. So this is what it used to look like before. You would select the academic year, the school you're at, school you're going, and then put in your major. Let's see if psychology appears now. Doing that, view the agreement. All right, here we go. So Psych 100 at Channel Islands is the same as Psych VO1 at Ventura College. So if you were to take this course, it satisfies the requirement for that. You no longer have to take that at Channel Islands, for example. Math 44 or Psych 4 for Psych 202 at Channel Islands, and Psych VO5 or what is this, Child Development VO3 would be Psych 213. Again, depending on the major, the list would be more or less extensive, but it's a really cool, cool resource to play around with and figure out where you're transferring to, and just to make sure that you're not wasting your time and you're taking the courses that satisfy the requirements, whether it's for the IGETC certification or your specific major. But again, you should always, always, always double check any information that's given to you, whether it's from a person, whether it's from a website, or any other resource. double check with your counselor, double check with the advisor or the counselor at Channel Islands or wherever you happen to want to go to. The next link is Cengage. I'm not sure if you will have access to this or not from students' perspective. If this is what I'm guessing, you'll have to let me know. If clicking on the first couple of assignments doesn't take you to set up your WebAssign account, then what you might have to do is click on Cengage. But what I was told is this should directly take you to WebAssign if you already have your account set up. But upon clicking on it on the first try, the first time, then it allows you to create your course. If you're using Cengage or WebAssign for any of your other courses and you have an existing account, you don't have to create a new one. You just continue with what you have, but you do get the 14-day trial per class. All right, so that's that. Graphing calculator, this is just a link to Desmos. I also had a link in our syllabus. Again, pretty useful, so play around with it. It does much more than just graphing. There's a link to KhanAcademy. Again, a really, really cool resource. Even YouTube has good videos. Let's see, what were we looking at in week 1? What was the assignment? Areas and distances in calculus. That might be a little tricky to look up because that might pick up geometry, but let's try it. Areas and distances in calculus. There we go. Riemann approximation, area between the curve and the x-axis. This is exactly what we need. So in addition to the videos that I will show you in WebAssign, if you need further help, you also have access to KhanAcademy with many videos on any topic, and it's not just math, any class. Whoops, what did I just do? There we go. With just about any class. So anyways, they also have practice problems and that sort of thing, again, depending on the topic. Here we go. Practice problems, again, embedded within it. So it's a really cool free resource at your disposal. The other thing is, you know, whether face-to-face or, what was it, area and distance. Whether we're talking about face-to-face courses or hybrid classes or you know, asynchronous courses like this one, it's always a great idea to be exposed to the content and the concepts and the topics from multiple sources on complex and difficult subjects. It helps hearing someone else's way of explaining the material. So let's say you have a textbook, you read the textbook and you're still confused, then try watching a video or two on KhanAcademy, and then try watching a video by someone else on YouTube, or try talking to your professor, or try talking to your classmates, or try talking to your study group, your classmates. Being exposed to different approaches is extremely, extremely helpful. So keep that in mind for difficult concepts and topics. That's KhanAcademy. NetTutor, again, this is laid out in the syllabus. We're fortunate enough at Ventura College that we have access to free 24/7 tutoring throughout the semester. However, there's a cap to it per semester for our school. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the cap is about just under 400 hours per semester, which we don't usually meet or exceed that because we also have our tutoring center through Ventura College. So when you click on NetTutor, I believe it advises you to use VC tutoring first if it's during their office hours, but if it's not, then you would go through NetTutor. Or let's say VC tutoring does not have a tutor for the subject you're taking, then you can try NetTutor. They've just revamped this. Let's take a look, see how it appears now, right? VC tutoring, NetTutor, and then support. Yeah, so definitely take a look at that. And I guess while we're on it, I'll show you the VC tutoring for our school. It's just a link to their page with the information that you need. So definitely take a look at that. I'm good, thank you for now. All right. So NetTutor and VC Zoom tutoring. Next item, Professor Leonard Calculus 2 videos. Again, there are tons and tons and tons of instructors out there and videos out there with any subject and topic. He's one of the best ones that I've seen. There are a lot of great ones, but you click on that, it'll take you directly to his playlist with all of the material. Now, let's say you happen to not find one of the items. It might be under his Calc 1, for example. Anyways, you can play around with it and figure it out. Obviously, if you're taking Calculus 1 with me, your link will show Professor Leonard's Calc 1 videos. If you're in college algebra, applied calculus, intermediate algebra, statistics, or any other course with me, then there should be a different link. Or you can always just get on YouTube and Google the keywords, just like we did in KhanAcademy. You do have access to both YouTube and KhanAcademy. Next up, we have the sequence and flow chart of our classes at Ventura College. It's extremely helpful. The first page is useful for students that are just starting at the first transferable course, and then the second page will be helpful for your later courses at Ventura. I'll go over the whole thing, but the idea is, let's say your major is arts and humanities. Obviously, you don't need calculus for that. Some schools do have other expectations and requirements, though, so always double check. Again, assist.org is a good way to double check and make sure the information is correct. The other one is your counselor or the advisor or the counselor at the other school. But anyways, let's say I have a student that has that's in arts and humanities majors. They don't need to take college algebra. College algebra is pretty difficult, so there are mathematically easier alternatives that are laid out here, not as rigorous, but still very informative and very helpful. So if you're in my, let's say if you're in my college algebra class, Math VO4, and this happens to apply to you, and the school you intend to transfer to does not require anything else, then just take that instead of college algebra. If you're in social sciences and health sciences, again, instead of taking Math VO4 college algebra, you can take statistics. In fact, statistics is such a great class. It is by far the most useful math class there is. And yeah, that reminds me, I should tell you something else too. And the reason for it is it has a lot of information about how data is presented and represented in our lives, whether by companies, whether by governments, whether by whatever the case may be. So we can't take any piece of information that's given to us on its on its face value. We really have to be careful with how numbers are used and how they may be manipulated to represent the situation. Statistics is not math heavy in terms of like algebra or calculus. It's a different kind of math. It's very, very, very interesting real world applications, but not the word problems that you're used to or scared of. They're really cool questions and topics in there. So anyways, social sciences and health sciences should take statistics. If you're going into teaching or liberal studies, you should take Math V38 instead of college algebra. Again, all three are transferable courses. What was I gonna tell you? Right. So two things. One, depending on the school, look at the expectations. So for example, if you are a psychology major, chances are 90% of the universities do not require you to take calculus or calculus for science majors and business majors. However, if you're a philosophy major, or I'm sorry, psychology or philosophy, whatever I said before, that's your major, but you happen to want to go to one of the top schools or the most competitive schools. Let's say we're going to Cal. So Berkeley will require that student to also have taken Calculus 1, even though it doesn't apply to their major. The reason for it is sometimes they use that to kind of weed out students. Courses like calculus are very rigorous and time-consuming. So it kind of reflects to the university, whether or not the student is willing to put in the work and the effort for that rigorous course. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking about statistics and saying that that's the most useful math course there is. So what about the rest of the math classes? College algebra, applied calculus, calculus 1, 2, 3, differential equations, linear algebra, modern algebra, math analysis, real analysis, complex algebra, topology, so on and so forth. There is so many math courses. Well, the reality of the course is, unless you are going to be a teacher or a professor, you will not use 95% of the material. So why do we take these classes, and why do we have to learn the material if it's not going to be used in our lives or at work later on? And the reason for it is it's very similar to here. Let's give you an analogy. Let's think about a sport. Let's say soccer or football. When players are training and practicing, if you look on the field, you'll see that they have orange cones set up. Or back in the day, they used to have those 18-wheeler tires, just flipping them. But in a real game, just like in real life, you don't see those tires, or you don't see the orange cones in a soccer game or a football game. So why do the football players or soccer players have those devices in place? The reason is simply training, whether it's muscle training, whether it's muscle memory, whatever the case may be, whether it's mental training, that's what it takes to strengthen their muscles. Now, math at this level is designed to train your cognitive skills. It helps us become logical thinkers. It helps us become critical thinkers. It helps us become analyzers. So math is just that orange cone that you see on the field. It's just that tire. It's just that weight that you lift. You don't use it in the real world itself, but you use its benefits in other areas. Math will allow you to become an excellent problem solver. And as you may already be aware, life is filled with challenges. I mean, that's the beauty of it. If there were no challenges, it would not be interesting at all. So we're constantly solving problems in our lives, whether it's personal, family, work, education, anything and everything else. So it really, really, really helps to be able to think rationally, think logically, analyze the information, and make good decisions. So that's pretty much where we're at. Whether we like it or not, those are the expectations and the methods of delivering that goal. There may be better ways to learn logical skills and critical skills, but our education system, and we're talking globally, our education system or governments, locally or nationwide, they haven't been able to come up with another way to help us develop those skills just yet. So it's a work in progress, but This is not the only way, obviously, but it's one of the major ways, and obviously other courses, other areas play into it too. As an example, I mean, I took extensive math and physics courses in my education. As an engineer, I did not need 95% of it. Again, all of it is done by computers. As an instructor, I do use it though. But any other field, wouldn't use it. It just helps us become problem solvers. Anyways, keep that in mind. Where were we? Why did I move this guy? All right. Right. So we're done with this page. Let's keep on going. Now, if you happen to be a BSTEM major, business, science, technology, engineering, and math, then the first transferable course should be college algebra for you. But if you're not a BSTEM, look on the first page. Take college algebra, and then here's the rest of the courses that follow. So for example, for a student to get all the way down to differential equations, the undergrad course, they must have taken pre-calculus or the equivalent of, they must have taken Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, and linear algebra before getting there. So anyways, here's a quick little thing. And by the way, if you ever have any questions about any of these links or anything else, I'll be more than happy to help if I can. Please don't be shy, reach out. That's why I'm here. I would love to be of service. VC tutoring, we already went over that. And then this is to get into my Zoom room or my Zoom meetings. Clicking on this will just directly take you to it, so you don't have to punch in the 10-digit code that we were looking at. Or you can just, this link, VC Zoom, or sorry, Zoom with the professor, is the same thing as this link right here. So either or will get you to the same place. I just thought it would be a little easier to have it here as opposed to go to the syllabus first, open that up, and then click on it. But once you get into the meeting, it will be saved in Zoom, so you can access it easier later on. The one item that I think I skipped was grades. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, that that's where you check your grades. Even though WebAssign also has a grade book, the grades get synced from WebAssign over to Canvas. They get imported. So don't pay attention to the grade book in WebAssign. For the most part, the grade should be pretty consistent, but the actual grade with the criteria set up and whatnot will be what you see here in Canvas. So that's pretty much it for Canvas, I believe. Let's switch over to WebAssign, the last item. Let's see if I'm still logged in. Yep. All right, again, for the purpose of this video, we're sticking with this 21B course. Again, yours might be a little bit different depending on what class you're taking with me. But let's go ahead and go to this course. The student's perspective, the student page looks a lot nicer and cleaner than the teacher's page. So yours is not going to be this mess, but there's a couple of things I just want to show you here, the main ideas. One, you have access to the ebook right here. Two is avoid the grades, the gradebook here. We won't use that. Two is something really, really, really neat about WebAssign and the assignments. And this is mainly the reason I chose WebAssign. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first assignment. We're in Calc 2. We're going to review Chapter 5, Areas and Distances from Calc 1 last semester. All right, here we are. Here's the first problem. Take a look at it. If you know how to answer it, go right ahead. But let's say you don't remember it or you can't figure it out. You click on the watch it. It pops up a nice little video for you. Look how similar these two problems are. Right, the approach is the same.
Write the sum using.
They're usually pretty quick too.
And you have 1 plus.
And there are different instructors that go through them. So sometimes you see an instructor with a blackboard. Sometimes you see them, on this whiteboard or on iPad. Again, there are various people working on these. But the beauty of WebAssign is that every single problem that I have assigned you has a watch it feature. And my students in the past found that extremely valuable. Before the pandemic, I was only using WebAssign for calculus for different reasons. And I was using other platforms like Alex or my math lab for the rest of my classes. Since the pandemic, I switched over every single course to WebAssign because of this additional feature, plus everything else that other courses, other platforms usually apply or offer. So anyways, it's extremely helpful. Please do take advantage of it. They're pretty short. You can pause it, rewind, all that good stuff. What else was I gonna mention here? Oh, right. Depending on the course that you're taking with me, the first few questions usually start with a JIT in the problem number. What JIT stands for is just in time. These are refresher problems. These are problems that will be used as intermediate steps of the concept in this section. Obviously, this summation notation, this sigma problem, is not from Calc 1 or Calc 2. We learned this back in initially intermediate algebra. We reviewed it again in college algebra. We reviewed it again in pre-calculus. Here we are taking Calc 2, and there's that quick refresher in case you don't remember it. Watch it, so on and so forth. The other tool is the ebook. Again, this is a little glitchy on the teacher side. When you click on read it, it should take you to the section of the book that is related to this problem. Now, obviously, since this is not a problem from Calc 2, it may not lead you anywhere, but let's see if we can find. Right, there we go. Here's a problem that's not just in time. Once you click on read it, it should take you to that specific section of the ebook. I don't believe it works for teachers still, but let's take a look. Oh, seems like it did take us there. Beautiful. So anyways, it takes us to 5.1, and we can just kind of browse through it and figure it out. Wonderful. All right, let's go back up to the top. So here's where you find your assignment, right? But before you start the assignment, take a look above. Here's where you find your lecture videos. Now, remember what I said before. There is tons and tons and tons of great instructors, professors, even authors and publishers creating videos. So given the resources that are available, I decided to utilize the resources and just kind of present them to you. And if you need further help, I would be more than happy to do a Zoom with you and sit one-on-one and talk with you. But here's the thing, we just went to 5.1. If I click on this video, it seems like it's only a 4-minute video. Well, that's not going to be the entirety of 5.1. So the idea is take a look at the other authors or the other videos available. Here's another one. Oh, I guess that was the same one we were looking at. But take a look. Now we have 4 videos for 5.1. 4 minutes.
Sure.
Another 4 or 5 minutes.
We're ready for
2 minutes. 4 minutes. So under 20 minutes, and that's the lecture. I mean, pretty quick and to the point. You can see other examples. You can see other authors, so on and so forth. And this is the case for just about every section. Some review sections, I think in particular with applied calculus or business calculus, for the review sections, like before chapter 1, there may not be any videos because those are supposed to be prior knowledge. So if you get stuck on those, KhanAcademy, YouTube, tutoring, study groups, office hours, so on and so forth. But for the rest of them, there's plenty of videos. Check them out. let's see. We talked about the videos, the lecture videos up here. We talked about watch it. We talked about read it. Right. On your screen, from your student view, there should be another button. I don't know if it's right here or right up there that says ask your teacher. So if you're stuck on this and you don't know what to do, just click that. It will share this exact problem with me, and I can go ahead and guide you through it. That's assuming you've already looked at the watch it, you've already looked at the ebook, you've already watched the instructional videos for that section, and you were unable to address it. So again, do your part, but if you're still stuck, reach out to me. Also KhanAcademy, YouTube, again, so on and so forth. So again, we definitely want to develop, that accountability that we were talking about. I was going to tell you one other thing, right? Okay. Every now and then, again, with technology, it doesn't always work. Every now and then you see that these answer fields don't show up. If that's the case, close the browser, restart it, that should be fine. If closing the browser didn't do it, restart your device. If that didn't do it, log into a different device and it should fix it. And if none of those work, just reach out to customer care or tech support. I believe that's all I wanted to show you here. Right, okay, WebAssign, showed you the videos, showed you the ebook. Right, on the ebook, let me actually show you, I believe there's something else here that right, that animation that was available under videos appears here too. Again, very interactive. Depending on the course that you take with me, some of the videos, those instructional videos that we just looked at, the one that I just closed, obviously. Sorry, it's like 3 in the morning. I'm creating this. All right, some of these guys will actually be embedded in your ebook, depending on which class you're taking with me. So definitely take a look at that, play around with it. Oh, here's that guy. Right, gonna close it. I don't think I need this anymore. Gone, gone, gone. Anything else I need to go over with you here? Ebook we talked about. You won't see most of these. These are instructor options. All right, that looks good. I believe this should be good too. Yeah, and obviously if any questions, just reach out and let me know. Hopefully I didn't do too terrible of a job. We went over the syllabus. Yeah, that's about it. All right, well, again, welcome to the new semester. I'm very excited to be working with you, and I know it's going to be an awesome semester. We'll talk soon.